In this episode, I would like to talk about the differences between project management and operations management. By the end of the episode, you will get a clear understanding who the project manager and who is the operations manager. So let's get started. So just to give you an example, in my current role, I'm acting as a PM lead and I normally distribute my activities into 3 general buckets. First of them is delivering results on projects that my project managers lead. Second one, helping them grow professionally. And the third one, kind of a side hustle when I have like some spare time at work. I dedicate my time to internal automation and improving the internal processes. Let's focus on the first bucket and on the third one. Recapping, like the first one, I'm delivering results of projects, and the third one, I'm working on the internal processes automation. Another thing is that we need to keep in mind is the kind of definition of a project. So if you may remember, the project is something that has clear start and finish points. This means this is an activity that has a limited duration, and we normally know when it's gonna be finished. And that is why we determine what the project is. Like, we plan the work, we understand how to deliver this work, we execute on work, and we close the work on the project. So start and finish points. When it comes to operations, normally this is not that much straightforward on when some of the activities are going to be finished. For example, when I work on internal process automation or implementing some new process, for my convenience, I normally also divide those activities into projects so that I can clearly understand what are the goals and deliverables on those endeavors. However, when it comes to operations, this is something ongoing, meaning when we are implementing some sort of the activity that's going to be long-lasting, that's going to have a scalable impact, and this is something we are determining as an endless thing. For example, if this is an activity of the employees' evaluation, this means that this is something we are implementing to use on a regular basis. And we are not going to stop doing this in a year or two unless the process is going to be changed. So again, with the project, we clearly understand when we are going to stop doing this work. With operations, this is an ongoing activity without the clearly defined finish point. Another tip that can help you define whether this is a project or operational work in front of you is the repetitiveness. For example, as I have mentioned, projects are not only have the clear start and finish points, but normally they're also unique. While if we talk about operational work, chances are that the processes and the activities are going to be repetitive and they're going to have some sort of cycles. For example, when we talk about like annual reviews within the organization, this is something repetitive, so it happens on an annual basis. It happens for all the employees that are within the organization. While if we talk about the projects, this is normally something unique and specific to the product it is delivered for. When we talk about operations, normally there are also some other patterns or components that we need to consider to determine whether this is an operational work, and that is also going to be helpful for you to understand what you are working on, whether this is a project or operational activities. And these are normally stakeholders. With operations, most likely these stakeholders are going to be internal within the organization. Less likely there are going to be some external stakeholders that are not within the organization, but again, it depends on the type of the operational activities. Another thing that we need to understand when it comes to the differences between the project and operational work is scalability. If this is a project, again, it normally has the start and finish points, and the scalability depends on the product needs. While if we talk about operations, the scalability might have different dependencies. For example, if this is operations, most likely we are working on some processes improvements, on new processes implementation. But when we talk about processes, if we are changing some certain step of them, there are dependencies, impact, and constraints that are related to other steps within the same process or within the interconnected processes. For example, when I was working on the project management tech interview process update, eventually it turned into the whole project management hiring flow update. We have identified that there are dependencies that are related to other steps in the hiring process in general. This means that we had to make those changes in order to streamline the whole process and make it smooth and efficient. So this also gives us a hint about the dependencies within the operational processes and how one change can impact the whole flow in general. So these are the differences that we need to bear in mind when we talk about the operational work. So let me know in comments if that was helpful. Also let me know in comments whether you're working on a project or whether this is operational work. Thanks for watching and see you in the next episode.